Good evening, everyone. Today, as we'll be doing taxation 2. ठीक है? And the chapter that we were doing is, there is not much chapter. There is only two chapters, taxation 2 and GST and customs. So today we will continue with GST. अच्छा, basics of GST is all basics means we are continuing with basics of GST. Today we shall learn about treatment of imports and exports under GST. Okay, the first thing that we'll learn is treatment of import in today's class. How an import is treated under GST. The GST law, import of any goods, okay, import of any goods minded, fine, not goods and services. Import of any goods are regarded as interstate supply. If when we are importing any goods, please keep a note of all this what I am writing over here in your copy. Okay, import of goods as interstate supply. ठीक है? This horizontal form will give you a better visibility. Fine. And is treated as interstate supply. So when there is interstate supply, it will be obviously subject to IGST, integrated goods and service tax, okay, which is nothing but a combination of CGST plus SGST, okay. And apart from IGST, what are the other taxes that would get charged? Apart from IGST, this import would be charged to basic customs duty, education cess, secondary higher education cess, okay. These are the taxes that would be charged apart from basic custom duty. Fine. Please take a note of this. I'm waiting. ठीक है? Fine. Now you are importing goods. Fine. Now importing means you are bringing it from other country, minded, but it is treated as same as that of interstate supply. And since you are importing it from other country, this basic custom duty, education cess and secondary higher education cess is being charged. ठीक है? And since it is an interstate supply, means it is being treated as an interstate supply, so IGST is charged. Now the goods that you are importing, fine, you are selling it in the market, goods sold in the market. When the goods are sold in the market, you will collect output tax or output GST, which is known as output tax or output GST. And at the time of purchasing this product, you have paid input tax. Fine. So you can easily take input tax credit. That means output tax minus input tax. ठीक है? Output tax minus input tax. By the time of selling it in the market, you are collecting output tax from the customer. At the time of purchasing this raw material, you have paid input tax. Fine. So now you will get a credit of the input tax that you have already paid, and you will pay the remaining amount to the government. Now, this goes the case of importing goods. But what if we import services? If we are importing services, ठीक है, if we are importing services, in that case, okay, the services also, importing services is also considered as interstate supply, fine, but in this case only IGST would be charged. But in this case only IGST would be charged. Customs duty, VAT, these things will not be charged. ठीक है? When you are importing services, it would be considered as interstate supply. However, only IGST would be charged, and this input tax credit remains the same over here. When you sell these services in the market, you collect output tax, and you have paid input tax at the time of purchasing. Suppose at the time of sale you collect tax amounting to rupees 200, okay, and at the time of purchasing you have paid tax amounting to rupees 100. So 100 is already gone out of your pocket. Now you are collecting 200, fine. So 200 minus 100, that is remaining 100 rupees you are going to pay to the government, and this input tax that you have paid again comes back to your pocket by way of output tax, because output tax you have collected 200, 100 goes to your pocket, 100 goes to the government. ठीक है? Okay. Now let us see an example. Fine. Let us do an example. What is the example? N Limited imports goods from USA for rupees 50,000. It pays basic custom duty at the rate of 10% and IGST at the rate of 5%. The said goods are sold for rupees 60,000 outside the state. Rupees 10,000 within the state. Output IGST at the rate of 5%. CGST at the rate of 2.5 and SGST at the rate of 2.5. Compute net GST liability. ठीक है? अच्छा, let us go through the sum first. N Limited imports goods from China. ठीक है? So there is importing of goods. So when a good is imported, it is considered as interstate supply. When you're importing goods, it is considered as interstate supply. So what would be charged? How much tax you will pay? You will pay IGST, you will pay basic custom duties, education cess, and secondary higher education cess. Fine. It pays basic custom duty at the rate of 10%, IGST at the rate of 5%. Fine. The said goods are, now it is getting sold in the market for 60,000 outside the state. It is again an interstate sale. रुपीज़ 10,000 विद इन द स्टेट. तो कुछ बाहर बिका स्टेट का कुछ विद इन द स्टेट. आउटपुट IGST इज अ रेट ऑफ 5%, CGST 2.5, SGST 2.5. Compute the net tax liability. Fine. Let us start computing. Particulars IGST, CGST, particulars है, first we write down what to write first. अच्छा, first let us write down output GST. Input GST, output GST हम लोग we pay later, I understand, but for computation purpose let us first write down output GST. अच्छा, how much will be the output GST? Let me calculate. अच्छा, the said goods, what is written over here? The said goods are sold for rupees 60,000 outside the state and 10,000 within the state. ठीक है? So let us calculate the amount of output GST. 60,000 outside the state. So it's coming to 1,500. Okay. No. I'm sorry. Output IGST is 5%. So let me show you the calculation. IGST will be charged when? IGST will be charged at the time of interstate sale. So here interstate sale is 60,000. So IGST will be charged at 60,000. So 60,000 into 5%, it comes to 3,000. ठीक है? अच्छा. Now then output IGST 5%, they have told, CGST 2.5, SGST 2.5. अच्छा, when CGST and SGST will be separately charged? CGST and SGST will be separately charged in case of interstate sale. Okay, intrastate sale. I'm sorry, intra means within the state. So within the state तुमने कितने का सेल किया? 10,000 का. 10,000 का कितना परसेंट? 2.5%. CGST लगेगा 10,000 का 2.5%, SGST लगेगा. When you people simply go for to restaurants to eat, you must have seen कि along with the bill it's written CGST 9%, SGST 9%. That means when you are consuming goods within your states, you are paying both CGST and SGST. And when there is an interstate transaction, you pay IGST. However, IGST is a summation of CGST and SGST, but for computation purpose, we'll simply write IGST. ठीक है? So it comes to 250. It comes to 250. This is my output tax GST. Now from there, I'll deduct input GST. Okay, input GST how much? Input GST is 5%. Fine. Acha, on how much? How much goods I have brought in from USA? 50,000. So input GST is 50,000 into 5%. In whose column? In IGST column, because when you are importing goods into India, we are paying IGST apart from basic custom duties and cess. However, when you are claiming input tax credit, okay, when you are claiming input tax credit over here, you can deduct only GST. You cannot deduct customs. Fine, because this is input tax credit is applicable only for goods and service tax, not for customs. So we can only deduct GST. So I write only GST come out, IGST 5%. I am ignoring this one, BCD. BCD means basic custom duty. Fine. So it comes to 2,500. ठीक है? So your net liability comes to 500, 250, 250. ठीक है? Because while you purchased, when you purchased the product, you didn't pay any CGST or SGST, तो इधर से तो इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट मिलेगा नहीं. ठीक है? So this comes your net liability of tax that you are going to pay. Clear? Fine. Achha. So we move on to the next part of our today's class, that is treatment of export. This we are done with treatment of import. Now let us start with treatment of export. Now, what happens in case of export? Means when you are exporting goods, okay, treatment of export according इसके साथ मुझे मैं ये भी explain कर दूँगी, supply to sales units, ठीक है, fine. अच्छा, the first thing that you have to learn understand in export is under GST law, exports are treated as zero rated supplies, ठीक है, exports are treated as zero rated supplies, ठीक है. Export shall always be considered as zero rated, whether the rate of goods or services are say 0% or 28% or 12%, 14%, 15%, doesn't matter. Okay, whatever be the rates of goods and services under GST, doesn't matter. Whenever you are exporting the goods, okay, it will always be considered as zero rated supplies, right? Goods will always be considered as, export of goods will always be considered as zero rated supplies. Achha. Now, exporter has the option either to export without payment of IGST under bond or letter of undertaking, which is known as LOU, and claim refund of input tax, okay, means that is input tax credit, or to export goods with payment of IGST and claim refund of IGST paid after adjustment of input tax credit. ठीक है. अच्छा, this thing is bit critical. This I'll discuss later. As of now, just keep it. I've just introduced. I've just told that there is something like this. But as of now, just remember, exports are treated as zero rated supplies. ठीक है. अच्छा, whatever be the rate of the goods, doesn't matter. It will also always be considered as zero rated. Okay. Now, next portion. Next topic. Branch transfer. I'm skipping branch transfer as of now. Branch transfer is not required. ठीक है. अच्छा, थोड़ा हम लोग रिवर्स चार्ज का थोड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट समझ लेते हैं. There is a separate, although there is a separate chapter for reverse charge, but the first chapter is the basic concepts and all that, and definitions and all that we are going through. So we have to go through all the basic definitions that are associated with, or definitions or concepts that are associated with GST. However, all these things will be later discussed in separate chapters. Achha. Liability to pay GST is on the taxable person. This we know. Liability to pay GST is on the taxable person. This we know already. Okay. Achha. Now the question arises, okay, ma'am, you have told taxable person, very good, it sounds well, but who are this taxable person? Taxable person means every supplier who are required to get registered under GST. Every supplier who needs to get registered under GST. ठीक है. Every supplier who needs to get registered under, taxable person means every supplier who needs to get registered under GST. Now, okay. Achha, next one. However, for first thing, let me say you from the beginning. Liability of GST falls on taxable person. Now, who is this taxable person? Taxable person means every supplier who needs to get registered under GST. So from that we understand that end consumers, that is you and me, who are actually taking the money out of our pocket to pay the amount of GST, are not a taxable person. Taxable person are those persons who are collecting those amount from us and depositing that amount to the house of government. They are the taxable persons, right? Now, sometimes it happens that liability to pay GST is on the recipient of goods or services. Okay. Sometimes it happens that liability to pay GST is on the recipient. Recipient means the person who is enjoying the goods and service, that is you and me. Okay. Sometimes liability falls on recipient. But from the very first day when we are discussing GST, we are always saying a burden of tax is shifted to the end consumer. That is true. That money goes out of their pocket, end consumer's pocket, but liability to deposit it to the government falls on the taxable person. That is, in our example that we took, was the owner of the restaurant. We are paying the bill to the restaurant, we are paying the tax amount to the restaurant owner, but restaurant owner is liable to go and deposit it to the government. But sometimes liability falls on recipient, that is you and me. We are receiving the services, mind it. When you are going to the restaurant, we are the recipient of the services. And all the provisions of GST law shall apply to the recipient as if he is the person liable to pay tax in relation to the supply of goods and services. Fine. Sometimes liability falls on the recipient, and all laws of GST would be applicable on this person. Okay. On the above person, as if he is supposed to pay, as if he is supposed to be the taxable person. Okay. As if he is supposed to be the taxable person. Okay. This process is known as reverse charge mechanism. When recipient will be liable to pay GST, recipient of goods and service tax will be liable to pay GST. That process will be known as reverse charge mechanism. In this video, I am not giving you the time to write it. I am just moving forward with topics. But when you watch the video, pause the video, write it down, whatever I am writing over here. Okay? And then continue. Keep a note of whatever I am discussing over here, because it's not feasible in the video to wait for you, to give you the time to write. But I am discussing very slowly. You can easily pause the video and write. Okay. Next. Now, let me give you some examples where reverse charge mechanism would be applicable. Where reverse charge mechanism it is applicable both on goods and services. Fine, it is applicable on both goods and services. Okay. Acha. Specific situations will be specified by central government specifies the situations where it will be applicable. Such situations are in case of tobacco leaves and GTA services. GTA services, goods transport, GTA, goods transport agency services. this has a detailed discussion. GTS services means this GTS service discussion will take one class when I'll be discussing reverse charge mechanism, and you'll find it interesting as well. So this is the entire page on reverse charge mechanism. Now let us go to the next part. Registration. Under GST law, there is a concept of single PAN-based registration. For SGST, UTGST, IGST and CGST. So what does it imply? This means that for all this, paying all these taxes, you require only one registration. Okay. Thus, when a person is paying IGST, CGST, SGST together, means a person is paying IGST as well, he is paying CGST and SGST as well, he has to make only one application and he automatically gets registered under all the acts, and it's not necessary that he has to pay all the tax. Maybe he is always paying CGST and SGST, he never pays IGST, it doesn't matter, but he is already registered for IGST and UTGST. Okay. Further, there is a concept of state-wise centralized registration. Now what does it mean? This means that if a taxable person has branches, okay, or manufacturing units or service providing units in different states, then he must obtain registration in each state separately. So although here for all the taxes you have only one registration, but this is applicable for a single state only. The next point implies that you need to have separate registration for separate states, for different states. Please note it down in your copy. जब तक बुक नहीं है ये सब नोट्स लास्ट में बहुत काम में आएगा, ठीक है, मीन्स फॉर लास्ट टाइम रिविजन. Separate registration is required for different states or separate states. Fine. अच्छा, however, only for those persons who are having separate branches, who are having separate branches, manufacturing units, service providing units, etc. Now let us take an example to understand this. Suppose H has a head office, HO means head office, in Bengal and 3 branches. Okay, where are these branches? 1 in UP and remaining 2 in Andhra Pradesh. ठीक है. So where does H needs to get it registered? In this case, H must get itself registered in each of the states. ठीक है. That is West Bengal, UP, Andhra Pradesh. ठीक है. Is it clear? Each has a HO in West Bengal and 3 branches, one in UP and remaining 2 in Andhra Pradesh. So he must get himself registered in all the 3 states. That is Bengal, UP and Andhra Pradesh. ठीक है. ठीक है. Today we end the class over here. Okay. Considering that although I took half an hour, but you will take much more time in jotting down all these notes and watching the video. Okay. Okay. Thank you.